Alright, here we have a 1984 Suburban Sierra Classic 1500. I bought this truck about 8 years ago, and since then have lowered it, put some engine components on it, wheels, tires. Interior is factory original. It is a radio delete. It is a manual window, no power, anything. It's a heavily optioned truck except for that stuff. It has roughly 170,000 miles on it. Transmission was replaced, I'd say a year ago, maybe 8,000 miles tops on that. Still has a warranty. Engine, I just put a Holley 600 and a Wind intake, high-rise intake. Runs great, no issues. Wheels and tires are a US wheel rat rod, and they are 17x8 and 17x9 rear, and tire size are staggered. If I can remember the tire size here. Tire size on the rear is a 275, 55, 17, and the fronts are a 235, 65, 17. So it gives it a good stance there as far as the width. All the molding has been replaced. I did that about 3 years ago. So the reason why I'm selling this truck is I had a fender bender last year, beginning of last year. Required a new hood, front left fender, a couple other parts in here and there. Sat at the body shop for 6 months, completely lost interest. I don't have a use for it anymore. I've bought land, and so I'm looking to use that money for something else. So the whole front end, new bumper, new grille, new headlight, surrounds, new fender, new paint on the left, on both sides are blended into the fenders. New lower air dam, all new trim again. New housing on the lights. Trying to think what else was replaced. Radiator support. That's about it for that. But entire truck's been buffed over again, and everything works as it should. Cruise control, air conditioning, heat, everything works fantastic except for that. It's just got a little pull on it. They're all kind of rough. Window works just fine. I replaced the window motor a year ago. Now the headliner was falling out when I bought the truck, so I just replaced it with these are foamular sheets you can buy at Home Depot, and they're roughly a quarter or so inch thick, and it was so hot in the summertime you couldn't stand it, so I just cut them to fit. You can remove those or just put a headliner over it and double the insulation. Factory original spare. All this carpet's original. Nothing's been replaced on the interior. It is a time capsule, so to speak. Seats all fold, and you can fit a 4x8 sheet of plywood in here, no problem. I know because I've done it many times. Carpet's in immaculate shape, no issues. I actually had the 84 original floor mats from the dealer in this truck. Now, the only spot in this interior that is starting to show is this right here, but I put a Indian blanket over it, and it seems to work just fine. I haven't had any more tears or anything else, but everything else is original. Upholstery, everything's as it should be from 1984. Gauges are in great shape, clear, no breaks, no cuts, no chips. Steering wheel horns, perfect. I do have the typical dash cracks in a couple of spots, but overall not too bad. There's your window for the rear window. That's the only power option in here. Everything else is good old manual cranks. Let's see. It does have a period correct trailer brake harness, which never tried it. I don't think it's wired up, but it's there. Now I do have a cheap alarm in this thing. It's not hooked up right now. It's just one of those sensors that when it senses vibration. You can see the hood, huh? I mean, it's all new. and I had them powder coat the front grille because that's the way my other one was, so it would match. And there's your good old 350. And like I said, that Holley carburetor and that intake, I mean, I put on at the beginning of last year, I think it was, maybe 3,000 miles at best. I would say probably 2,000, because like I said, it got in a wreck, sat in the shop for six months, completely lost interest. Battery's new, that's from 2020. AC works. It might need a charge, but I haven't tried it yet. It's not time for it. There's that alarm. Then your factory sheet with all your codes, which is kind of cool to have. All the nonsense emissions, smog junk has been pulled off, capped. I mean, you know, just to get rid of it. Smog pump pulled off, all that, just to kind of clean it up a little bit. But other than that, it's a factory 350. I did put a new distributor on it, and I've got all the paperwork to show all the parts that have been put on it, new filter, everything, and I can supply all that. There's your vintage brake control for a trailer setup. I don't know if it works or not. I haven't tried it, but this truck is it's a good truck. It's lowered 3.5 in the front with coil springs and completely forgot my train of thought. Anyway, 3.5 in the front and 2.5 in the rear, actually 2 3/4. It's got a shackle drop, and I removed the helper spring, so that's 2 3/4. Trying to think what else. Reverse lights are LEDs, so it has a fast blink, but they're super bright. Other than that, this truck is basically get in it, turn, go. There's nothing wrong with it. It's still got factory undercoating under the hood. Or, I mean, yeah, well, there's some on the fenders there you can see. But this whole truck was optioned with undercoating. So there is not a spot of rust on this truck anywhere. I've had it on the lift a couple times to look at it, but I mean, no rust. Exhaust, I was working on that. This is a Hush Power Flowmaster. Right before the wreck, I'd cut it and was going to reroute it and never got around to it, so it's basically like a dump. It sounds good though. But as far as the truck goes, you're not going to find a cleaner one. In this year, in this shape, they're hard to come by. That's factory tint. I never did tint the front windows, just keep it kind of original. Now this truck came out in 1984 when the Olympics was come to town, so it's got a cool old sticker I never took off. Official truck of the Olympics. So anyway, there she is. Just looking to sell it, put some money back into my home and land. But feel free to contact with any questions or anything like that. Thank you.